He was the most feared commander in Syria. Kings respected him. Armies followed him. But underneath his armor, his body was slowly dying, and the only thing standing between Naaman and a miracle was his pride. Naaman was the leader of the army for the king of Aram. In the 800s BCE, he was probably the most powerful military leader in the land of Syria. The king respected him very much, and his people thought he was a great hero because he helped Aram win many wars. He was a very brave man, very rich, and had a lot of power. But all his great success did not matter because of a terrible truth. Naaman had a bad skin disease called leprosy. In the old times, leprosy was not just a regular sickness. It was a slow and painful way to lose your friends, your place in society, and your body. Because he was a high army leader, he did not have to leave the city to live alone in the wild like poor people did. But the sickness was always there, like a ghost. Under his shiny bronze armor and fine clothes, his skin was dying. Every time he won a battle, he remembered the scary truth that his body was failing him. No doctor in his city of Damascus knew how to cure it. During their ongoing fights with the neighbor country of Israel, Aramean soldiers captured a young girl. They brought her back to Damascus as a prisoner of war. She had to work in the house of the great army leader as a helper for Naaman's wife. Even though she was taken away from her home and family, she did not hate the people who captured her. One day, she saw how sad everyone in the house was because the leader was getting sicker. She spoke softly to Naaman's wife. "I wish my master could go see the prophet who lives in Samaria. He would heal him of his skin sickness." The words spread quickly through the palace servants until Naaman heard them. He really wanted any hope of getting better. So he went and told the king of Aram what the young captive girl said. The Aramean king saw a great chance to save his best general. He only understood kingly power and money, so he decided to write an official letter to the king of Israel. He sent Naaman with a large group of people and a huge amount of money to buy the miracle. 10 big bags of silver, 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 sets of expensive clothing. Naaman left for Israel in a grand chariot with many soldiers riding around him. He arrived at the gates of Samaria, the main city of Israel, and gave the letter from the king of Aram to King Jehoram of Israel. The letter said, "With this letter I am sending my servant Naaman to you, so you can heal him of his skin sickness." When the king of Israel read the letter, he got very scared. He did not see a sick man looking for God's help. Instead, he thought it was a trick to start a war. The king of Syria was asking him to do an impossible miracle. If he failed, Syria would use it as an excuse to attack Israel. Jehoram tore his royal clothes because he was so upset. He yelled to his helpers, "Am I God? Can I kill people and bring them back to life? Why does this man send a sick person to me to be healed? Look, he is just trying to pick a fight with me." News about the king's scared behavior traveled down the roads of Samaria to Elisha, the prophet of God. Elisha saw that the king did not have faith and that a big political problem was starting. So Elisha sent a strong, clear message to the king's palace. "Why did you tear your clothes? Send the man to me, and he will find out that there is a true prophet in Israel." The king agreed, and Naaman's grand parade of beautiful horses, heavy chariots, and boxes full of gold and silver changed direction. They drove away from the king's palace and went to the small, simple house where Elisha lived. Naaman stopped his chariot right outside the prophet's door. He expected Elisha to run outside, bow down to his high rank, wave his hands over the sick skin, and do a big, exciting show of divine power. But the door stayed closed. Elisha did not go out to meet the famous general in person. Instead, he sent a helper outside to the street with a short, simple instruction. Go, wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan River. Then your skin will be completely healed and clean. Naaman felt deeply insulted. He had traveled hundreds of miles and brought a huge fortune. But the prophet ignored him and sent a servant to tell him to bathe in a muddy, slow river. He became very angry and told his chariots to turn around. He yelled to his officers, "I thought he would surely come out to meet me. I thought he would stand and call on the name of the Lord his God, wave his hand over the bad spots, and heal my sickness. Aren't the rivers back home in Damascus, like the Abana and Pharpar, better than all the waters in Israel? Couldn't I just wash in them to get clean?" Naaman turned and drove away in a rage. His pride was stopping him from staying alive. He was happy to pay lots of money or do a very hard task to earn his healing, but he did not want to humble himself to do a simple, unglamorous act of obedience. As the group of chariots drove away from Samaria, Naaman's servant stepped in. They talked to him carefully because they knew he had a bad temper, but they spoke with smart logic. "My father, if the prophet told you to do some great hard thing, wouldn't you do it? So shouldn't you listen when he tells you something so easy like wash and be clean?" The words broke through Naaman's anger. If Elisha had asked him to win another war or climb a scary mountain, Naaman would have done it immediately to keep his honor. Why let pride ruin his last chance to live when the rule was so simple? The 7 dips. Naaman told the group to stop at the edge of the Jordan River. The water was muddy and dirty, not beautiful like the clean mountain rivers back home in Damascus. In front of all his soldiers and servants, he had to do something humiliating. He started taking off his armor. He took off his golden helmet and the heavy chest plate that hid his sick body. Piece by piece, his identity fell to the ground until he stood exposed. Everyone could see his raw, pale, oozing skin sores in the bright daylight. He walked into the cold, muddy water until it reached his waist. He took a deep breath and went completely under the water for the first time. When he came up and wiped the muddy water from his face, he looked at his skin. Nothing had changed. He went under a second, third, and 4th time. The riverbank was totally quiet. His servants watched him closely as he dipped a 5th and a 6th time. When he rose after the 6th time, the truth was clear. The sickness was still there. God's plan required total obedience. 6 dips meant nothing if he refused the last one. Naaman closed his eyes, let go of the last piece of his pride, and went under the water for the 7th time. When Naaman came up from the 7th dip, the change was total. The scales, the redness, and the white patches were completely gone. The old story says his skin was fully healed. It became clean, smooth, and healthy, just like a young boy's skin. The river had washed away the sickness from his body and the pride from his heart. The free gift Naaman was full of joy. He and all his men went right back to Elisha's house. This time, he didn't stay proudly in his chariot. He walked up to the door, looked at the prophet, and made a great promise. "Now I know that there is no true God in the whole world except in Israel. Please accept a gift from me." Naaman begged Elisha to take the silver, gold, and fine clothes, but Elisha answered firmly, "As surely as the Lord lives whom I serve, I will not take a thing." Naaman begged him again and again, but Elisha refused. He did not want to sell God's free healing. Since the prophet would not take any payment, Naaman asked for a special favor. He asked for enough dirt from Israel to fill the bags carried by 2 mules. He wanted to take it back to Damascus, saying, "I will never again offer sacrifices to any other god except the Lord." He also asked for forgiveness for one thing. When he went back to his job in Damascus, he had to help the king of Aram walk into the temple of a fake god named Rimmon. When the king bowed down, Naaman would have to bow too. He asked the Lord to forgive him for just doing his job. Elisha looked at the healed commander and said simply, "Go in peace." Naaman turned his chariots back toward Syria as a completely healed man, carrying bags of Israelite dirt to build an altar to the true God in a land of fake gods. But the story does not end with Naaman going home in peace. A dark shadow fell on this miracle because of Gehazi, the trusted servant of Elisha. Gehazi had watched everything. As Naaman's rich chariots drove away, greed grew in Gehazi's heart. He whispered to himself, "My master was too easy on Naaman, this Syrian man, by not taking his gifts. As surely as the Lord lives, I will run after him and get something for myself." Gehazi ran fast down the dusty road, chasing the dust cloud of Naaman's chariots. Naaman looked back and saw a man running. He stopped his chariot, stepped down to meet him, and asked worriedly, "Is everything okay?" Gehazi made up a clever lie. "Everything is fine, but my master sent me to say, 2 young prophets just arrived from the hills. Please give them some silver and 2 sets of clothes." Naaman was very thankful and happy to give back. "Please, take twice as much silver," he said. Naaman made Gehazi take more, packing a large amount of silver into 2 bags, along with 2 sets of fine clothes, and hid the stolen treasure inside his room. Then he walked into the house normally and stood before his master. Elisha looked at his servant, knowing exactly what happened. "Where have you been, Gehazi?" "I didn't go anywhere." Gehazi lied. Elisha's voice became very strict, exposing the ugly truth. "My spirit was with you when the man got down from his chariot to meet you. This is not the time to take money, clothes, olive fields, sheep, or servants." Elisha showed that greed had made Gehazi blind to how holy the moment was. He had turned a free gift from God into a dirty business deal. Then Elisha told him his punishment. "Naaman's skin sickness will now stick to you and your children forever." As Gehazi turned and walked away from Elisha, the terrible sickness hit him instantly. His skin turned white as snow, rotting with the exact same disease that Naaman had left behind in the river.
Hey guys, these videos takes many hours of hard work. If you could please like the video and subscribe. Also, we want to see which countries our videos reach. If you could please comment which country you're watching from, it'll truly help us. See you till the next video.